Hey there guys, today I wanted to go over two budget Kokanee Downrigger rods, and the first one I'm going to talk about today is the Featherlight series. It's highly recognizable. This is made by Eagle Claw, bright yellow fiberglass rod, and we're going to drop this down. I got a bunch of Kokanee here between 25 and 50 feet. See if we can't hook up here. I'm just going to do a 30-foot setback. I'm running split decision, and which is a J&K Tackle MK3 blank that I helped design the colors, and I've got their little magenta micro squid behind there. So we'll do a 30-foot setback, and we're going to set this down between 45 and 50 feet where I'm seeing most of the Kokanee. We'll talk a little bit about this rod and why it's a great budget choice rod. There we go. Right around 38-40 feet. Let's see if we can get a fish on. You can really see the action on this. This Featherlight series has very soft glass, so it's a very slow action rod. And when I say slow action, I mean it doesn't want to return to its original straight shape very quickly. Like, it's very noodly. And one of the things I like most about this rod, besides its price point, is it is very easy to detect a strike on this rod because of its bright yellow coloration. So it's really good at grabbing your attention, like out of the corner of your eye, or if you get distracted on your boat easily. This rod is very easy to detect those bites, especially if you're like in a lake like I'm fishing today, where most of the fish are 11-12 inches. And they don't necessarily make that, make that downrigger dance really heavy. They can be a really great choice for your smaller Kokanee fisheries where the fish just aren't huge. Oh, there's a fish. See it? Shows up well. Nice. So one of the things I like about this rod is that it costs just $29. It seems to be like one of the few things besides Arizona iced tea that is defying, he's off, is defying the inflation. I'm going to try going to a spinner there because I was going through a fair number of fish but wasn't getting a lot of uber bites. So let's try switching out to a spinner. But as I was saying, the $29 price point on the Eagle Claw is really nice, and it hasn't really changed price all that much over the past few years compared to pretty much everything else, which has gotten ridiculous. I'm going to do a shorter setback. I'm going to run it tighter to the ball, maybe 10-15 feet, and we will try again. Now the Eagle Claw comes in two lengths. The 7'6", which is what I run because I think it's easier for me to net fish. But it also comes in an 8-foot model, which I like if you're going to, run snap weights on it. This one, the 7'6", just because of it's a little bit shorter, it tends to run out of backbone a little bit faster than the 8-foot rod. But the 8-foot rod's great for running, up to 4 ounces, whereas I'd sort of max out at 3 ounces here. There's a lot of fish down at 50. I'm going to pull down those guys. Both of the rods are essentially identical other than the length. They're going to have that classic yellow coloration. They both are going to have cork handles, although the foregrip is like a mixture of rubber and cork. And then they're going to have stainless steel guides. So they're pretty cheap on the guides, but I mean, it's an inexpensive rod. And it's just got a plastic reel seat, nothing fancy. It's a very basic trolling rod, but it does fantastic on the downrigger. It's great. The 7.6 is great if you're fishing for Kokanee and that. Man, there's a bunch of fish up at 40 in there now. It's a great rod for those like 15 and less, 15-inch and less Kokanee. If you're in a lake with the bigger Kokanee, 15 to 20 plus inch, then I would probably look at the 8-foot just because it's going to give you that little extra backbone for dealing with those larger fish. but you really can't beat 29 bucks. It's crazy good value. There's fish. Another nice thing about the Eagle Claw is that it's got a little honesty stick on there. It has a little measuring tape too. See if we can get this fish in. Come here. Got him. They've been all about 10, 11 inches today. Maybe like a big one's like 13. There we go. So that's the Eagle Claw Kokanee Featherlight. And make sure you get they have other yellow glass rods, so you just need to make sure you get the one that says Kokanee Featherlight, or otherwise they'll be a lot stiffer than these ones. And I really love the slow action on these. All right, let's go to the next budget rod, which is the Shimano Scimitar. I've been fishing this for a little over almost a year and a half now. And it comes in two models. It comes in a 7 and a 7'6". I went with the 7'6" on this one. I also have the 7. I like them both. The 7 is really good for like if you're fishing kokanee fisheries with like less than 12-inch fish like this lake, but I like the 7'6" sort of overall. They both retail for about $49. It has a lot of higher end features, and we'll talk about those. I'm gonna get this deployed here. I got my Goldilocks Dodger and a orange and chartreuse micro squid in there. And go keeping with the short setback. They seem to be kind of light biting, and I like that short setback. You get the added action or attractiveness of the downrigger ball itself. Now this is an interesting rod because I can find no information on what the blank material is. It could be a fairly, it's definitely a faster action rod than the Eagle Claw, but it's a significantly lighter overall because it's thinner material, which makes me think it's either composite or just a little bit stiffer glass, more modern glass. That glass that's on the Eagle Claw rod is kind of old school and heavy, but slow in action, but still very fun. This, like the Eagle Claw rod, is a two-piece rod, so it's really nice for transport, but it's much lighter. It just feels higher end. It has a slightly higher price point too at $49.99, so about 20 bucks more for a rod, but $50 for a rod isn't that bad of a deal. Now, unlike the Eagle Claw rod, of course, this is a very dark rod overall, so it's black and red is the main coloration on it, although black is overall dominant. But because it retails at a higher price point, it has slightly higher end features, like it has the titanium reinforced guides, unlike the just plain stainless steel guides. So if you do run braid for kokanee, you'll have a lot more durability out of these guides than the stainless steel ones. It has a carbon fiber handle, which is really nice for sliding in and out of the rod holder, and overall durability. Cork does tend to sort of get chipped up a bit as it ages and dries out in the sun. It'll just get little pieces will flake away or just get caught. I do find that the cork's a little bit grippier when wet though than this carbon fiber. This is a little slippy. Now, because of its darker coloration, of course, it's much harder to detect the bite, especially on smaller fish if you're fishing at extreme depths. Today I shouldn't have any problem because I'm, fishing just 20 to 40 feet down. But, like if I'm fishing Chelan or something and I'm catching little 10, 11-inch fish and they're at 150 feet, it can be tricky to see that bite, especially if on a choppy day. It's a little bit harder to see on this very thin black rod compared to that bright yellow rod on the Eagle Claw. Oop, there's one. Still there. So one thing about this rod is it's a little faster and it has a little bit higher sensitivity. So you can actually feel these smaller fish a little better than I can on that big glass rod. He's a jumper. He's a jumper. So I think this is actually an even better rod for smaller fish than the Eagle Claw rod. I've had some 20-inch fish on here, and I just feel pretty much overpowered the entire time. But on this Scimitar rod, it's perfect. These smaller fish, you really can feel them all the way up, coming up on the downrigger, and it makes it just a little bit more fun. So that's the Shimano Scimitar Kokanee rods. It comes in 2 models, 7, 7.6, retails for $49.99. All right, I'll put links to all these below. You can even buy online, pick up in store in places like Sportsman's Warehouse, and it still helps out this channel. All right, I'll see you next time, and just remember, fish smarter, not harder. Bye, guys.